And let's get some more on this now with Paul Nieuwenhuis, who's an independent car industry analyst. Welcome back to the programme. Good to see you. Thanks, Paul. So the US market for Chinese electric vehicles is relatively small, isn't it, compared to Europe? Will these tariffs have any real economic impact?
Well, I mean, as already mentioned, there is a strong political angle to this, of course. The US car industry has, in a sense, been caught out. They found that for many years it was more profitable to make big pickup trucks and SUVs, and they made a lot of money on them. And they knew that if they went for electric vehicles, they would not make much money. But of course, ironically, the first modern credible electric vehicle was the General Motors EV1 in the 1990s. But they've sort of moved on from that, and they've now been caught out by what China has been doing.
These tariffs will buy US manufacturers some time, won't they? Will that help?
Yes, I think that's the key thing really here, to buy them time. They do have the expertise, but they need to ramp up. And they have to make sure that they can retain their profit margins, because at the moment that would be challenging, I think, with current technology. And this is where they are really worried about the Chinese. One of the problems is, you mentioned Volvo in there. Most Volvo electric vehicles are also made in China, so it's not just Chinese-owned manufacturers who are affected by this. Potentially also some European manufacturers might be affected by it.
And how do Chinese EVs compare to those made elsewhere in terms of innovation, cost effectiveness, for example? I mean, their branding profiles seem to be rising internationally, don't they, Paul?
Yes, I mean, if you'd asked this question 3 or 4 years ago, I would have said, well, they were not internationally competitive, but that's changed very, very rapidly. And we now see them in Europe, as you said, and people are generally impressed with them. The challenge for them is going to be, particularly in North America, to build a dealer network. It's a massive market, very spread out, very varied, and in the past, new importers have been caught out by that. So they only sell in some markets like East Coast and West Coast or something, but covering the whole market has always been a challenge for importers.
And will domestic American manufacturers like Tesla be able to meet the demand for electric vehicles going forward?
Well, Tesla is, of course, in the strongest position. I mean, they are ramping up production worldwide. They can do that, but not everybody wants a Tesla. And of course, Elon Musk has not made himself a friend of many people in the US. Many people in his traditional customer base are politically to the left. And as he moved increasingly to the right, he's alienated a lot of his potential customers. So they will be looking for EVs from other manufacturers now.
And in the long run, do you think that these measures will encourage the US and Europe to invest more in domestic manufacturing and reduce their reliance on Chinese imports?
Well, I think this is its primary role, to encourage them to invest domestically. And we saw the same when the Japanese first came in and quotas were introduced rather than tariffs. That gave European manufacturers and American manufacturers some breathing space, and they were able to catch up, in that case, with Japanese manufacturing methods and quality standards. In this case, it's a fundamental technological problem, and also doing the new technology profitably, that is a real challenge for Western industry.
Paul Nieuwenhuis, really great to get your thoughts on this. Many thanks for joining us.
No problem.